Okay. All right. Just give me a demonstration for getting started with your thumbnail sketches for your EA landscape drawings. Okay. So, um, all right. What we're gonna do for today is we're just gonna do some thumbnail sketches. So I'm actually gonna show you guys this on Procreate since we're just doing drawings for now. But definitely I'll do like a live camera for like when I show certain techniques with the color pencils for this project. Okay. So first thing I want you to do on a sheet of paper is, I want you to kind of lay down the, kind of like hot dog style where it's like longer this way. Don't do it vertical that way, just because we're doing more of a horizontal type of a drawing, more of a landscape. So first thing you want to do is you're just gonna do the, thumbnail sketches. So we're gonna do about 5 thumbnail sketches. So I want you guys to draw. Let me make this pen a little bit thinner. So you're gonna draw 5 rectangles. So just gonna draw 5 rectangles here. Oops. So very similar to like when we did your planning for your portfolios in the beginning of the year. We're gonna plan and concept some ideas for your landscape drawings. So I'm gonna cheat though. I'm gonna duplicate these layers, move them over, so I have at least 5 thumbnail sketches to work with. Okay, so I want you guys to just keep the compositions horizontal, just because in order to capture your landscapes the best possible way, you want to like keep it horizontal. So we're not gonna really do like a vertical piece for this particular one. Yeah, so we have my 5 thumbnail sketches here. Okay, make sure to do small drawings. Don't do any big ones. And then you could do like a bigger one in the middle. So this one will be more of our like preliminary rough sketch that we're gonna do. So this one's gonna be a little bit more in detail, but I'll explain this one a little bit later. Okay, so you can set it up your drawing like this or however you want it, but it's gotta have 5 small rectangles and then 1 big rectangle here. Okay, just make sure the rectangle is about the size of your thumb. Don't make it any smaller than that, but I definitely would go like a little bit bigger than your thumb. Okay, so you're gonna do your thumbnail sketches, and let me just show you guys some of the resources that you'll find in the assignment. So I haven't really written down the assignments just yet, but I'm just gonna show you guys your resources for like your project. Okay, so here's one resource that's not that's going to be available for you guys today. So it's going to be out basically on Surrealism Art. So this is just a little information about Surrealism Art and some examples of what it is. So on top of environmental awareness, I do want you to do it in the style of Surrealism Art. So Surrealism art, I'll just kind of read this, is an artistic literary movement that emerged in the early 20th century, characterized by its aim to challenge, transcend the normal perception of reality. It seeks to express the unconscious mind, dreams, and irrational thoughts, often combine unexpected, bizarre, fantastical elements in ways that defy logic. Surrealist art often features strange, dreamlike scenes where ordinary objects or figures are portrayed in unusual, impossible contexts. The goal is to unlock the creative potential of the unconscious mind and explore deeper emotions, truths, free of constraints of the rational thought or societal norms. Okay, so basically surrealism art though is it's kind of like just like imagine if you're like in a dreamlike world and you were to make art based off of that. That's kind of the best way I can explain what surrealism art is. So some things in the drawings artwork don't really make any sense, such as this candle looking like a snake. This guy's nose is going into the pipe that he's smoking. This is like octopus become part of the landscape. There's water going on, but it's kind of like a wall. So it's kind of things that don't really make any sense, but it's kind of really interesting to look at. And that's basically what surrealism is, surrealism art. So Salvador Dali, I'm not gonna read the bio about him, but he's was the big innovator of surrealism art. So you guys may have seen like the melting clocks, some more examples of his work. So this was really interesting with like the elephants combining with like these kind of like spider-like daddy long legs. Things usually are kind of floating or flying around. So there's a lot of different ideas or things you can do for like your landscape drawing. So I do want you to, to have some type of a surrealism twist to it, just because in most cases, with the landscape drawings that you guys do, in order for you to push your creativity or your ideas of making people being aware of like the terrible things that are happening to our environment from our causes, then I feel like surrealism art kind of will help to like explain that a little bit better. Yeah, so I actually have some other examples of like landscape photos you can look at. Originally the project before I kind of provide all these resources, but you know you guys have like, your own resources, so you have like this to look at, as well as your resources that you guys gathered from the class before. So I haven't really had a chance to grade these yet, but definitely look at the images, pictures that you guys looked at, and in some cases, some of the renewable or environmental art that you guys are using, and they do have some elements of like surrealism in it. For example, we don't really see like a light bulb with like the landscape. So that's kind of like one way you can play around with the landscape drawings, is just kind of exaggerating the sizes of things. Okay. So I'm actually going to have these slides open on the side though as I'm working on my drawings, and I'm just giving you guys an idea of like things to think about as you're working on the drawing today. Okay. So all right, let me just see if I got my pencil set up here. I want to make it as thin as I can. Okay, so to get started with your thumbnail sketches, I just want to kind of go over like basic foundations of drawing a landscape. So no matter what landscape you draw, though, always start off with the horizon line. So this is the line that separates the ground from the sky. Okay, so always start with the the horizon line here. Okay, so you do want that separation from the ground from the sky. Okay, so if you're kind of wondering like why your drawings may look a little wonky, a little bit weird, it's because you probably didn't think about this at first. And let's just say you're like drawing certain elements in the picture. Okay, anything that's closer to this horizon line will become to the point of like you can't see or find it no more. So for example, if I were to draw like a little tree over, draw a tree here, so obviously the tree over here is going to be like really small. Okay, and if I were to draw even like another tree here, and that could be even smaller. But if I were to continue that same tree though, this tree will look a little bit bigger. This tree will be even bigger here. Okay, but you kind of get the idea though. The lower it goes down here, bigger, and then towards that it's going to be towards the horizon line it'll be smaller. Don't mind my handwriting, it's a little hard to read. And then this one's obviously like as big as it can be. Okay, so this is what they call space in your landscape drawing. So you want to make sure to incorporate space in the drawings, just so it makes sense. Okay, so just to show you guys a few things, just kind of be mindful of. This is like the same thing with like pathways as well. It's going to be, a little bit more narrow there. It's going to be bigger when it gets to the bottom here. Okay, so just a few things to think about. And then usually in the background, this is like where you can incorporate your skies, mountains, if you want to do mountains. Okay, but just remember like with the thumbnails though, just keep it like real simple. Okay, so just that's just some basic foundations of like just the landscape. But when you start drawing your landscape though, again, start with the horizon line. So I do suggest doing the horizon line a little bit below the middle of the page, just because it kind of makes it look like it's more deeper in space. If it's in the middle, it's like kind of more in like the you kind of balance the two. If you have it more higher up though, you're focusing a little bit more on what's over here though. Okay, so kind of make it look a little bit more deeper in space though. I definitely would move this horizon line closer to the bottom. Oops, that wasn't my eraser. Okay, and then you can start playing for your ideas. So, the original ideas I had before was, I did really want to play around with like the ideas of like the light bulb. So, I do want to demonstrate like the renewable energy in some shape or form. So I feel like these wind propellers is kind of really interesting. So maybe I can kind of play around with like a little bit of like a windy pathway here. So we got a windy pathway here. Okay, so just remember like the pathway is going to get bigger and smaller. I was just going to draw some of these wind propellers. They kind of look like flowers almost. So, you got one here, you got another one over there. So I'm not even worried about like how these wood propellers look like. So, again, these are like little thumbnail sketches you're doing right now. So don't even like worry too much about like, the details of the drawing. It's just I need to know like, oh, I need to make them a little bit smaller when they go in the background, a little bit bigger when they're closer up. Okay, but I'm just gonna play around with like the spacing of it. Maybe I can do like a drawing of like like a mountain for like the background here, and I think it'd be kind of neat to have like a little light bulb sticking out from like the background here. So that'd be like kind of my surrealism part of the drawing, is like this light bulb here that's helping to illuminate the light. And then I can think about like maybe shadows here from like the drawing. That could be really neat to have some like cast shadows here. They have some clouds here. Okay, but these are just like little things you want to think about in terms of like the drawing of your thumbnails. So again, don't worry too much about it. Again, main thing you want to think about is your horizon line. Think about your spacing. So I kind of just repeated the same the wind turbines for like the background, the light bulb in the back. I guess if I want to add like a little more detail, I can like put some bushes here in there just to fill up the space. Okay, so this could be like one of my ideas here. Maybe another idea I can do is I could kind of play around with like the idea of like just like cavemen. That could be kind of neat. So what if I did like the horizon line here? What if I did like a little campfire here? So in the campfire, there's the it could be like a light bulb that's sticking from the ground here. So like, this is like a light bulb here. So again, I'm not really too worried about like details yet, but what if I had like some people just sitting around here, standing around? I was gonna have them as like silhouettes. They're just kind of keeping warm on the fire. That could be kind of neat, and then like a little shadow there. So, right now this is like more of like a little area that they're in, some patchy grasses. So, think about putting a cave right here. Could be kind of neat. So you're just basically starting to design your drawing space, how you want it to look. Like just keep things rough though, like what you want to draw. So obviously this light bulb is like the kind of like the equivalence of like a fire on the lamp, or the fire on like a campfire. So I kind of want to play around with the idea of like just kind of like cavemen, and they use that as like a renewable energy. So I'm trying to think of what I could add to the background to make it a little bit more surreal, but I guess I could do like the wind turbines again. So Again, I'm just drawing these ideas though. I'm not really, now that I think about it, though, I'm not really a big fan of this idea, but you know, it's okay though because we're just gonna choose one of your ideas when we do your drawings. You know, maybe I can have this be more of like, you know, full moon, some clouds, some stars in the background. Yeah, I might just have it just be wind turbines in the background. Okay, so that could be like one of my ideas, but you know, you're just gonna come up with 5 different ideas though. You know, try to make your you know, backgrounds as elaborate as you can in the small thumbnail sketches. Obviously, I can add some more details to it, but definitely would add like you know, kind of label it right here. You know, add some things to the foreground. Foreground. So this is like objects closest to you. Okay, and then you add some things to like the middle ground. So you don't have to label this stuff. I'm just showing you guys. So this would be things on horizon line, and then background is you know, obviously the things that are in the back of the space. You know, we'll say above horizon line. Okay, and you don't have to worry about the little details because, you know, obviously I can add little, you know, rocks that could be on the ground. You know, add some little patches of grasses. But you should have like at least a good idea of like how the drawing should look. And you know, like my drawing doesn't look really great though. But again, we'll pick one of your best ideas to do as like a you know, more like a finalized drawing down here. All right. Okay. So main thing is you want to include those things in the foreground, middle ground, the background, and you know, yeah, just finish like your other thumbnail sketches. All right.